The signs are spoken of in ancient texts and whispered prophecies, but are they truly unfolding around us right now? Many speak of the second coming, yet few offer clarity on the surprising events that may precede it. If these questions burn within you, then you are in the right place. Strange phenomena, escalating conflict, and you sense the world teeters on a precipice. That UFO in the thumbnail? It ties into the pattern, a piece of an ominous puzzle. The second coming, it may be closer than you think. I won't offer blind reassurance, but I will arm you with knowledge. Stay and discover the 7 surprising signs and what you might need to do before time runs out. The news is filled with stories of corruption, violence, and disregard for human rights. Every passing day, we are bombarded with reports of injustices and immorality. Now, imagine that these events are not just isolated coincidences, but part of a larger pattern, a sign of something deeper. This is the world that Matthew 24:12 describes when it says, "And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold." This Bible verse is the basis for the first sign we are exploring. Consider, for example, the growing economic inequality in our society. Wealth is increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few, while the majority of the population struggles to survive. This is not just a matter of social justice, but also a moral issue. Or consider the growing acceptance of sexual immorality in our culture. What was once considered unacceptable is now often celebrated. Promiscuity is glorified, while purity and chastity are often ridiculed. And what about the violence that permeates our society? Not just physical violence, but also verbal and emotional violence. People are attacked and vilified, and hate has become commonplace. This is the first sign we are exploring today: the increase of iniquity. The increase of iniquity in a world where peace seems like a distant dream, where conflicts and tensions are always present. The roar of cannons, the buzzing of drones, the cry of the people. It's a symphony of chaos echoing around the world. It's hard not to feel discouraged. Consider, for example, the situation in Gaza. The war between Israel and Gaza has been a constant source of conflict and tension. In just the past few months, we've seen an escalation in violence with ongoing aerial attacks and ground combat. Another example is Ukraine, which has resisted Russian aggression. However, after nearly a year of fighting, there seems to be no end in sight to the war. But what does all this mean? Why are we seeing these wars and conflicts? The answer, once again, can be found in the Bible. In Matthew 24:6-7, we read, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." This is the second sign we are exploring today: rumors of wars. The roar of earthquakes, the rumble of volcanoes, the howl of hurricanes. It's a symphony of destruction echoing across the planet. In January 2024, the city of Grindavik in Iceland faced an uncertain future after a volcano erupted. Or consider the devastating earthquake that struck Japan in early January 2024. And what about the floods in China in December 2023, where the intense cold hampered rescue efforts and the death toll reached 1,342? Or the eruption of Mount Semeru in Indonesia in December 2021, which devastated the village of Kobak. According to data from the World Meteorological Organization, climate-related disasters have increased 5-fold in the last 50 years. Economic losses have increased 7-fold from 1970 to 2010, soaring from an average of $49 million per day to an impressive $383 million per day globally. Additionally, a report from Yale University indicates that climate disasters have increased by 83% in the last 20 years. And there have been significant increases in droughts, wildfires, and heat waves. In Matthew 24:7 we read, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in various places." This is our third sign: natural catastrophes. The truth is often hard to discern. Charismatic figures emerge, promising answers and offering hope. They attract followers with their sweet words and promises of salvation, but not everything is as it seems. Matthew 24:24 warns, "For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. These words, written thousands of years ago, seem to precisely describe the world we live in today. The presence of false Christs and prophets is a clear sign that we are approaching a turning point. There are several recent examples of individuals who claim to be the second coming of Christ. Here are some of them. Alan John Miller, an Australian who claims to be Jesus Christ reincarnated. José Luis de Jesus Miranda, based in Miami, who self-proclaimed as the second coming of Jesus Christ. Henry Cristo, born in Brazil, who also claims to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Sergei Anatolyevich Torop, known as Vissarion, a Russian who claims to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Wayne Bent, currently imprisoned in New Mexico, who led a religious group and claimed to be the incarnation of Christ. These are signs of the end times, precursors to the return of Christ. As more and more false leaders emerge, we are getting closer and closer to the day when Christ will return to restore order and justice. So, while the news may seem bleak, the rise of false Christs and prophets may be increasing hope. But this is just a sign that the light is about to break through the darkness, and that light is the return of Christ. This is our fourth sign: false Christs and false prophets. The sacred and the profane often intertwine, and the line between respect and contempt seems to be fading. The reverence once given to the sacred is being replaced by an attitude of indifference, and in some cases, even contempt. Timothy 3:1-5 offers a bleak view of this phenomenon. But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy. These words seem to resonate in our current society. We see this in how religious traditions and practices are often discarded or ridiculed, as secularization infiltrates all spheres of life. The sacred is pushed to the margins. Particularly, young people are increasingly immersed in this digital world. Many spend hours browsing social media, playing video games, or watching online videos. While these activities can be fun and even educational, they can also become distractions that steer them away from seeking deeper meaning in life. The entertainment industry, in turn, is always seeking ways to capture our attention. New movies, music, games, and apps are released at a dizzying pace, each promising to be more exciting and engaging than the last. However, these distractions often do not bring true happiness. They merely fill the void of the soul with irrelevant content. This is the fifth sign: disdain for the sacred. Shakings in the stars and cosmic elements often occur, capturing our imagination and arousing our sense of wonder. Luke 21:25-26 says, "And there will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and on the earth distress of nations in perplexity, because of the roaring of the sea and the waves, people fainting with fear and with foreboding of what is coming on the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken." Recently, we have witnessed a series of remarkable cosmic phenomena, from spectacular meteors to lunar and solar eclipses, and days where the sun simply does not rise in the morning. Total darkness. These events remind us of the vastness of the universe and the small place we occupy in it. If you clicked on this video after seeing a UFO in the image, let me explain what this has to do with the return of Jesus. UFOs are often associated with extraterrestrial visitors and other exotic theories, but perhaps that is not quite accurate. Scriptures indicate that supernatural phenomena have origins in God, His celestial servants, as well as in Satan and his angelic followers. There is a conflict between the forces of good and evil, aiming to influence humanity. Deceptive and confusing manifestations are characteristic of events associated with evil. These manifestations can be understood as demonic incarnations, citing examples such as animals, deceased people, and angelic beings. The Bible warns about great signs and wonders in the last days related to rebellious angels, aiming to attract people to experiences that diverge from biblical teachings. Ufology, in exploring the origins and motivations of appearances, often incorporates esoteric and Gnostic concepts deviating from the biblical worldview. Biblical texts mention the ability of rebellious angels to perform extraordinary signs with the purpose of deceiving even the elect. not only to deceive but also to keep people in fantasies, occupying their minds and distracting their focus with such fantastic things. It is evident that ufological ideas often conflict with the biblical worldview, highlighting the importance of sober analysis by Christians. The continued interest in the topic in media and entertainment may be motivated by commercial or political reasons, or by the transmission of spiritual messages contrary to the Bible. Faced with this flood of information, Christians are urged to focus on the message and mission left by Jesus Christ, avoiding extremes of blind faith or skepticism. The biblical exhortation to be sober and vigilant in prayer remains relevant, for the end of all things is approaching. There are other biblical passages that support the ability of rebellious angels to perform extraordinary things and also great signs from heaven. Luke 21:11, 2 Corinthians 11:14, Revelation 13:13. These signs and wonders have the purpose of deceiving even the chosen ones. It is undeniable, therefore, that ufological conceptions often follow a direction that conflicts with the biblical worldview. This is the sixth sign, shaking in the stars and cosmic elements. We have reached our final sign, which will be the last one in our video, and the ultimate sign before the coming of Jesus. The sound of salvation words, the echo of good news, the joyous cry of converts. It is a concert of hope that resonates throughout the world. Throughout history, we have seen countless missionary efforts that have taken the gospel to every corner of the world. From the early missionaries who traveled on foot or horseback to modern missionaries who use airplanes and the internet, the gospel has been preached to all nations. Technology has played a crucial role in the spread of the gospel. With the invention of the printing press, the Bible could be mass-produced and widely distributed. With the advent of radio and television, sermons and messages of hope could be broadcast to millions of people simultaneously. And now, with the internet, the gospel can be preached to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Churches can live stream their services, missionaries can maintain blogs about their work, and digital Bibles can be downloaded onto almost any device. The biblical basis for this sign is Matthew 24:14, which says, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." The preaching of the gospel to all nations is seen as an important sign of Christ's imminent return. This is the seventh and final sign that we are exploring today. The gospel preached to all nations, and you have an important role. Remember your friends, family, and make a daily effort to reach out to them. As we explore together these signs, we are reminded of the promise of hope and redemption found in the Bible. Each sign, each prophecy leads us back to the same central truth, the promise of Christ's return. We live in a world full of iniquity, conflicts, natural disasters, false prophets, and a growing indifference to the sacred. But amidst all this, the gospel is being preached to all nations, fulfilling the prophecy and reminding us that even in the darkest moments, there is light. And that light is Christ. He is our hope in affliction, our peace in chaos, our refuge in the storm. That's why it's so important to seek out those we love and lead them to Christ. Because in Christ, we find not only salvation but also love, joy, and peace that transcend all circumstances. So as we navigate this turbulent sea of signs and prophecies, may we always keep our eyes fixed on Christ, the beacon of hope in the storm. And may we bring others with us on this journey, sharing the love and hope we find in Christ, because in the end, that's what really matters. If you like this video, you'll love this one even more.